Wow, it's very quiet. I know we have 3 more minutes left, but how about we go around and introduce ourselves in the meantime? So, could you tell me from which school you are or which organization you are from? So, I'm Rachaita, I'm from the Bonner Foundation, and I have my co host Ellie with me. Would you like to introduce yourself, Ellie?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Ali. I'm a rising junior at the University of Lynchburg, and I'm one of the interns this summer.
Matthew, will you go next? You are next on my screen.
Hello, my name is Matthew McCormack, and I'm here today with Becca Schools.
Okay, awesome. Madison?
Hi, I'm Madison Reiser. I'm Director of Recruitment at Urban Teachers.
Great, thanks. Dawn?
Hi, I'm Dawn Bose. I'm also the recruiter with Becca Schools.
Yeah, we have a big group. Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm Program Manager with Becca Schools.
Okay, I see that you put the whole thing in your name. That's perfect. Thanks. Yvonne?
Hi, everyone. I'm Evan. I am the Manager of Business Development for Peer Health Exchange.
Thanks. Sorry for mispronouncing. Do you go by, you said Evan?
Yeah, Evan.
Okay, thanks. Andrew?
Hello all, my name is Andrew Duffy. I proudly serve as a Regional Recruitment Manager for City Year.
Great, thanks. Maddie? I guess you're on mute, Maddie, but okay, never mind. Torino? Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, my name is Torino. I was a first-year student at Stone College, but I am taking the step to become an active duty member to the Navy. I am leaving next month. Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks. Wilmer?
I'm Wilmer. I'm a rising sophomore at Berea College, and I'm a Bonner Scholar.
Great, thanks. I see that we have few more people joining in, and we may not have time to introduce everyone. So will you go ahead and maybe type in the chat box from which schools or organizations you are from? And that will help us. Thank you. So as you know, we have 5 different national partners today with us, and I'm going to share my screen, and Ellie will tell us a little bit about the organization. So here we go. And by the way, all the information is also available on our learning community. Are you able to see my screen? Okay. So we do have partners from Becca Schools, City Year, Peer Health Exchange, Quaker Voluntary Service, and Urban Teachers. So Ellie, how about you let us know which school should go first? Ellie, are you on mute?
Yeah, my speaker was just being mute for a second. So we'd first like to introduce Becca, or the Bilingual Education for Central America.
So what we will do is we have 5 partners, right? And we have about an hour. So each partner can have about 7 or 8 minutes to talk about their program. And then at the end, we'll open it up for questions and answers.
Ali, is it okay for us to share our screen?
Sure, let us make you co-host so you can share screen.
Katie will be the one sharing her screen if she's the one that you would like to add.
Okay. Ali, are you doing it or do you want me to do it?
I got it.
Okay.
Awesome.
So hi, everyone. Katie, Matt, and myself. My name is Dawn. My pronouns are she, her. We are representing Becca Schools. They're a series of 3 schools that are currently located in Honduras. Katie, would you mind going to the next slide? So right now in Honduras, public education only goes up to 9th grade, which is actually 3 grades more than what they were offering a couple of years ago. But because students and families often have to incur the cost of uniforms, books, sometimes they have to bring their own desks, what we are doing is trying to offer quality education that is affordable to folks in the community by offering bilingual education that is grounded in a scholarship model. So we believe that every child deserves the basic right of education, and that educating the next generation of kids is the most effective way at international development. And so to that end, we have partnered up with 3 different schools on the ground to achieve this mission of providing quality, affordable education. You can go on to the next slide, Katie.
And how we as Becca schools approach this model are we partner with our 3 existing bilingual schools, which are run by Honduran directors and also a board of parents. We contract in our English-speaking team of teachers, and we've even recently had the opportunity to contract in graduates from our 3 bilingual schools to then go on and teach in our English-speaking classrooms. We also believe that educational enrichment and language learning should not stop after the school year. So through our alternative breaks in the summer, it offers continual social development and language learning opportunities for our students. As well, even outside of the school walls, we always like to engage with our community in many different ways by offering homestays, home visits, monthly parent educational conversations within our community, and much more, as we like to continually foster an environment to strengthen our partnerships with our 3 partner schools through community engagement.
Yeah, so again, I'm Katie. I'm our program manager, but I also am a teacher at Becca Schools. And our students are the heart and soul of what we do. They are the most kind and caring and generous human beings I have ever met in my entire life. And every time I step into my classroom, I'm just filled with hope. In my classroom, I see students thinking critically and analyzing, whether that's in science class, looking for solutions that they can implement in their homes, in their country, to combat climate change, or in English class as they work to improve their English skills so that they can communicate across cultures and across borders. They really just truly fill me with hope every single time I walk into my classroom.
And so now we are excited to offer 3 different ways that folks can get engaged. So if you would like to become a full year teacher, we offer a 6-week intensive teacher training, because we often have folks who come down who don't have a background in education, but we make sure that you're prepared on the very first day of class to be able to give effective lessons and to unit plan and that kind of thing. We also offer ongoing professional development throughout the school year that is grounded in the community that we're teaching in. So one Honduran focused pedagogical approach that we have is culture and context. And so we partner with community partners to engage in deeper reflection on the political and economic situation facing our students and their families. We also offer training in trauma-informed practice. We offer community engagement, so you can go visit your students' families, and we also offer an opportunity to stay with families when you first arrive. Obviously in COVID, that's going to look a little bit different this year, but we're excited to see what emerges from that. And so with our teacher program, it is a volunteer program, but we offer room and board. And so hypothetically, you would not need any savings in order to be able to live with us and with our cohort of teachers. The other opportunity that we offer is alternative breaks. So right now we offer summer camp, which offers academic support, art, music, games. And then the other piece of our alternative breaks is a school improvement project. And so the school, together with our Honduran partners, we'll think of painting a mural or working on our basketball court. And this program also offers opportunities to travel to local cultural sites. And then finally, we are super excited to launch for the very first time our Becca Fellowship Program. And so all of these fellowships will be remote, and they are going to be in 5 different pillars: communications, fundraising, volunteer recruitment, research, and alternative breaks. And so this is a really great opportunity to engage in social service work that can be done from home or done from your home university in order to support this really important work that is happening in Honduras. And so for more information about any of these programs, feel free to reach out to us either here in the chat or at volunteer@beccaschools.org. We've also put up a QR code that you can take a picture of that'll take you straight to our volunteer application page. And again, my name is Dawn, and we have Matt and Katie here who are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. So next we have Alisa from Citier, but I think she is not able to join us at this time. So we will have our next national partner, and I'm going to also share the screen with you so you can see. So we do have someone from Peer Health Exchange, right?
Yep, that's me, Evan. I'm happy to share my own screen as well. If that's possible.
Okay. So we'll make you a co-host. Ellie, will you do that?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Evan Joy McLaurin, and I am currently the manager of business development for Peer Health Exchange. And what Peer Health Exchange is we're a national health equity nonprofit that trains college students to teach health classes to usually ninth graders in districts that do not have a robust health curriculum. So which is very common, as you all know, was experiencing in schools. So right now, the purpose I am here in talking to Bonner is actually to advocate Peer Health Exchange as a Bonner service site. We are already currently a Bonner service site at the Wagner College in New York, and we've been approved to be one at Spelman College, which is my own alma mater. I wasn't a Bonner student myself, but I was a friend with a lot of Bonner students. So we are, again, here to promote Peer Health Exchange as being a service site. We are currently operating in Boston, New York, Chicago, LA, the Bay Area, and currently operate as well as smaller sites in Stockton, California, Dallas, Denver, and Detroit. That Dallas one is a very important one as we get health education into the South. But here, let me tell you exactly what we do. So again, we train college students to be near peer health educators to ninth grade students. We use that term near peer because we found that the most beneficial and unique part of our program is the fact that we are delivering a health education curriculum through college students, who are a lot, younger and closer in age to the high school students that we're trying to reach. We've polled our ninth graders and students in high school and middle school saying that what is special about Peer Health Exchange, and they're like, yeah, talking to college students is a lot easier than talking to my PE teacher who's being forced to teach a health education class, and it's just like, don't have sex or you'll die or something like that. Shout out to Mean Girls. But so we found that that's much more, much more effective curriculum. I'm scrolling down a little farther, but we found that our students are much more likely to visit a health center, being able to identify warning signs of poor mental health. I really joined this organization because I talked to one of the girls ninth graders who received a health education curriculum, and she told me how she was able to identify that she was actually in a pretty emotionally abusive relationship, and because of Peer Health Exchange, she was able to, recognize those signs and remove herself successfully from it. And I was like, wow, there are people at my big age who aren't able to do that. So I was very impressed with the outcomes. But not only is there a real impact on the ninth graders that we serve, but there's also really impact on the college students that are involved in our curriculum. We give college students the opportunity to, facilitate and develop their public speaking skills. And, a lot of times in college, a lot of people think like, oh, what am I going to do after college? Maybe I want to go into teaching, but I've never really done any teaching opportunities before. Peer health exchange is a great opportunity to see if they even like that, if they like working in front of the classroom, and really an opportunity to have an amazing impact. So we really hope to continue to partner with the Bonner program in order to, create health equity on part of the college students, as well as Bonner very graciously offers scholarships funds for doing such an amazing amount of service. And Peer Health Exchange does take a pretty decent hour a week curriculum, but it matches up with Bonner Bonner requirements. So yes, and I'm also I'm running a workshop tomorrow, a presentation that will go deeper and have a whole slideshow on what Peer Health Exchange does and how we're going to adapt to this more virtual world that we're living in, and how we already are conducting virtual workshops, and they've been effective too. So thank you, and I'm open to any and all questions at the end.
Thank you, Evan. So next we have Zenaida, right, from Quaker Voluntary Service. So are you going to present? Okay. So.
And I can also share my screen if that's possible.
Yeah, Ellie is making you a co-host right now.
Great. Hi everyone. I hope that you all are taking care of yourself. It's saying host disabled participant screen sharing. Oh, okay, cool, great. Yeah, so my name is Zenaida Peterson. I use they, them pronouns. I work for Quaker Voluntary Service. I served as a fellow, and I now work for them. I do equity work with them, and I do recruitment work. I came to the Bonner conference, the SLI conference last year, and I had a really great time. So I was glad that it was sort of going to be happening in this capacity. Yeah, and I want to share a little bit about our organization. We're an 11-month service year program for young people 21 to 30 who want to live in intentional communities, deepen their spirituality, and do social justice work. So folks can live in cities like Atlanta, Minneapolis, Philly, Portland, Oregon, and Boston. This was my house and my housemates. So yeah, we provide public transportation, food stipend, pay for folks' rent. People have a personal stipend. There's an exit program completion stipend as well. Yeah, so there's really an anti-capitalist focus on trying to find abundance within community, simple living, and like finding out that there can be actually so much comfort when we like dismantle sort of individualistic and entitled way of moving through like goods and services and care. So these are sort of a list of different sorts of social justice organizations, like focuses that fellows have in the work that they're doing. The program is Quaker, so you don't have to be Quaker to be a part of the program. It's a really like open and welcoming spiritual community, and we really hope that people leave the program feeling more spiritually grounded than when they came in, regardless of what path that takes. A few of my housemates were Catholic or Protestant, and several of them weren't religious at all, and it was really important for everyone to like figure out what their relationship with spirit was, and like how to get nourished in that way. And that wasn't always going to Quaker meeting. So spirituality is an important aspect of the program. QVS has 3 main tiers. It's spirituality, communal living, and that social justice work that we were talking about. I feel it's important to name that we are in really stressful times, that fellows who started this program in September did not realize that they would be ending the year in a pandemic and with such social distress, as we continue to hear about the violence of police brutality. And so fellows all over the country are holding that. We have a house in Minneapolis that was it was really close to where George Floyd was killed. And so we're providing a lot of support, mental health support, and we're going to have a vigil this Saturday, every day during the week, holding digital optional worships that people can attend. So yeah, I want to emphasize that we're moving with the times and holding support for fellows. Our program is still going to be happening in the fall. We're placing fellows now. Many of them are working from home, with some of them still having to go back to work, having hard conversations about what keeping each other safe looks like. So I think that for me, during these times, it has been especially important for us to get to the heart of what is important, and community is important, justice work is important, and staying connected and grounded in spirituality is important. So if that's interesting at all to folks, you should definitely reach out. I'll drop my email, and I'm sure you can also find information about QVS in this forum. Okay, thanks so much.
Are you putting it in chat box?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
And I will stop sharing.
Awesome. So we now want to introduce urban teachers. There are 5 representatives from there. So I'd just like to quickly ask which one is presenting so I can make you co-host.
It's me, Madison, and I actually don't think anyone from my team is on besides me right now, so you can just add me.
Because I think 5 of you registered, right? So we were...
Yes. Yeah, they're supposed to be. I was actually going to say, in light of everything that's going on right now, most of them are currently out organizing and working with our cohorts and incoming cohorts. So it is me today, and then my other colleague, Zay, will be hopping on to do the next presentation. So. All right, let me share my screen really quickly. All right, everyone. So my name is Madison Reiser. I'm the Director of Recruitment at Urban Teachers. I have been with the organization for about 5 years now. Our organization is based in Baltimore. We have sites in Baltimore, DC, and Dallas, and I am coming to you from Salt Lake City today. So we are kind of all over the country, especially on the recruitment team. So I really want to tell you a little bit about our program today, answer any questions that you have, but also recognize that, as we've talked about a couple of times, this is a very challenging time in a lot of ways, and something that our organization is very active in dismantling systems of oppression, specifically racism. And we are a proud work in progress organization as an anti-racist organization. So with that, we'll dive in to talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. For those of you who are not terribly involved in the world of education, these statistics may be new to you. If you are very involved in the world of education, this will be familiar to you, unfortunately. But talking a little bit about why Urban Teachers came about, why we do what we do. Currently, across the country, there's a 20% annual turnover rate of teachers. So 1 in 5 teachers are leaving the classroom every year. the majority of those teachers do tend to be in our underserved schools and do tend to be leaving early on in their career. So this is not necessarily people who are retiring or have spent 25 years in the classroom. A lot of this is happening in the first 1 or 2 years that people are teaching. With that, and the most alarming statistic on this page for me, to be honest, is that nationally only 34% of teachers in the classroom feel that they are prepared to be effective in the classroom. So 1 in 3 teachers actually feel that they have the preparation, the training, the education, the experience that they need in order to serve students. And then the achievement gap, which may be something that most of you are familiar with at this point, that Black and Latinx students are approximately 11% less likely than white peers to graduate high school. I know that's something that if City Year is going to present, they'll probably talk a decent amount about. We work very closely with City Year. But just to give you a little bit of perspective on some of the issues that Urban Teachers is poised to address. There we go. So Urban Teachers is a 4-year teacher preparation program, and we are uniquely designed to tackle these realities. I will say, for anyone who is considering education as a career path and saw 4 years and just kind of went, whoa, no thank you. I look at our program a little bit more like a 1-year intensive training program, but a 4-year commitment to community and to your schools and to making sure we're addressing some of those previous statistics. So at Urban Teachers, 94% of our teachers feel prepared to do the work that they need to do in the classroom. So as you saw on this past page, where 34% of teachers nationally feel prepared, almost every single one of our teachers, after they are moving their way through our program, say in surveys that we take every year, multiple times a year, that they actually feel like they have been provided the skills, the education, and the preparation and support they need in order to be effective in the classroom. We also have a 77% retention rate of people who have completed the 4 years of the program and then stay in the program beyond the 4 years. So for us, and I could talk forever about the 4-year aspect and why we ask that of people, but really what we find is that once people have chosen to commit to a community for that 4 years, the likelihood that they choose to continue on in that placement in this career path is significantly higher than the national average. Was going to play a little video for you all, but it's not working today. My internet is very shoddy. I do encourage you to go to Vimeo and just look through some of Urban Teachers' videos. We have a lot of testimonials from our participants from each of our sites talking about their experience. And so I will encourage you all to do that on your own time. I'll share the link to the Vimeo in the chat when we're done. Just to talk a little bit about numbers. So there are a lot of different alternative certification programs out there. Our program is significantly smaller than a lot of other programs. Part of that is the 4-year commitment. Part of that is the master's degree component, which I'll talk about in a second. But the other part of that is that we are really focused on being intentional in the communities that we already exist in. So what we're looking to do is, as we say in our organization all the time, go deep rather than wide. So we're really looking to be 50% or more of the teacher pipeline in Baltimore, in DC, in Dallas, rather than 4 or 5% of the teacher pipeline in 20 different cities. Both models are great. Both models work and have positive aspects. This is just the way that we've chosen to do our work. So when it comes to the numbers, and these are slightly out of date this year, I'm excited to tell you how many people will be having join us this summer. But over the last 10 years since we started the program, 134,000 total students have been served by Urban Teachers participants. 35,000 total students were served, not this past year, but the year before, by Urban Teachers participants and alumni. 262 school partners. I think that's actually closer to 300 now. And then about 1,254 total Urban Teachers residents have participated in the program since 2010. Last year, we welcomed 304 participants into the program. This year, we are welcoming between 375 and 390, which is a huge improvement for us. And we're very, very excited to bring in that many teachers into our program, into our cities. Our teachers do come from all over the country. We do focus specifically on local recruitment in Baltimore, DC, and Dallas. but only about 20 to 30% of our cohorts come from local sites. The rest come from all over the country where we have recruiters present. So essentially everything that you need to know about our program is that we believe, this is what we believe at Urban Teachers, we believe that well-prepared teachers accelerate student achievement and challenge inequity in the communities that we serve. Obviously the latter part of that being even more relevant than it is every day for us currently, and making sure that our teachers are not only prepared with appropriate training and the ability to teach, but that they're also culturally competent teachers, that they have a special education background in order to serve students in schools that don't have enough resources in that area. So there's a lot of different components to that. I think I'm running up on time here, so I will just share this. You all are welcome to screenshot this if you'd like. This is kind of an overview of what you could expect from the 4 years of our program. The first year is a residency year where you're co-teaching in a classroom with a host teacher. So you're not actually responsible for your own classroom until month 15 of the program. You get 14 months and about 1,500 hours of in-classroom experience, obviously with a little asterisk for this year because things may look a little bit different with COVID. But you are getting significant training, significant coaching. You're getting to observe, practice. It's really, really important to us in our program that our teachers are able to practice on adults and make mistakes on adults so that we're not making mistakes on kids and not potentially, wasting a year of a kid's life because you didn't necessarily know what you were doing. It's super, super important to us, and that's why we do the residency model. I'm happy to answer questions about this slide as we move forward. If you are interested in learning more about Urban Teachers, working with us, post-graduation, options of things you can do during your time in university, I will put this up here for you all to screenshot. These are our 5 recruiters across the country currently. I forgot to put Mikkel on there from the Midwest. Dang it, sorry guys. If anyone is in the Midwest region, I will post his contact information in the chat. If you're on the West Coast, feel free to reach out to me. But other than that, these would be your points of contact. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you. So we do have about 30 minutes. As I mentioned, one of our partners couldn't be here, Alisa from City Year, but we will share her information as well later on. And now it's open for questions. So what we could do is, if you click on participants and then you have an option to raise your hand. So that's one way to do it. And the other is you can also type your question in chat box, or you could unmute yourself and go ahead and ask the question. So Ellie and I will be monitoring chat. And in the meantime, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, I just wanted to make you aware that I am here from City Year. I couldn't be here, unfortunately. She had some storm damage, so she's without power, which is doing no one any favors, but I am here and happy to present.
Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No worries. So let me see here if I can share. Let me see.
Ellie, will you make, you already did, awesome.
Okay. Hello again, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Andrew. I proudly serve as a regional recruitment manager for City Year. I am living and based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. City Year is a national education-focused AmeriCorps program. We currently serve in 29 cities across the U.S., and I'll share a map later in the presentation on the where and what. So in terms of what we do and what we look at, as a nation, we are still seeing nearly 800,000 students not complete high school every year. So that is a huge problem that we are really focused on addressing on the ground level in our work, and is really the driving mission behind what we do. And we believe that this is a solvable problem. We believe City Year is part of the solution. We partner with schools and communities challenged by persistent inequities in our education system to create learning environments where all students can build on their strengths and fully engage in their learning. We work with students that are showing early indicator warnings, focusing on English, language arts, and mathematics specifically. So as you can see on the screen, the three main drivers that we look at are attendance, are they getting to school, behavior, what's happening when they're at school, and then course performance, what is the data showing? So working with them in those three areas are where we look to make the gains within our work. So as early as the 6th grade, any student who demonstrates poor attendance, disruptive behavior, or course failure in English or math has less than a 25% chance of graduating. So being able to work in the schools in which we work in, and we work in elementary, middle, and high schools, grade 3 through 12. So working with students in that 3rd through 5th grade range, we try and get ahead of that problem. Working with our students from 6th to 12th, we're trying to pick up from where they are, meet them where they are, and really support their progress to eventually the goal of graduating high school and having success in life beyond that as well. So City Year seeks to serve in high schools with low graduation rates and the elementary and middle schools that feed into them to increase the number of students who are on track. So it's also about looking at where these schools that are struggling with low graduation rates are having their students sourced from, and then in turn working with them and really trying to create a support network for these students throughout their educational journey and having touch points all along the way in terms of supporting them as they're in elementary school, potentially in middle school and high school as well. So really trying to stay consistent with that support and that presence in their schools. So what it's like to be a City Year AmeriCorps member. City Year AmeriCorps members will serve full-time on a team of diverse, passionate young adults in an elementary, middle, or high school for the course of a school calendar year. City Year AmeriCorps members forge positive, caring relationships with students and help create an environment where students can build on their strengths, take risks in their learning, and feel connected to their schools. They do that through group and one-on-one tutoring, working with a partner teacher to identify students who need extra support, analyzing data to inform decision-making, leading an initiative on their teams as a coordinator, examples being in charge of social media accounts, focusing on attendance, putting on events, things like that. It's also about contributing to a positive school culture where students arrive at school excited and ready to learn, and then also leading our after-school program is a large part of the service as well. And so for those of you who are very data-driven, data shows that schools that partnered with City Year have improved on English and math assessments significantly. There's more information on that if anybody's interested on those specific studies. And then in terms of benefits of service, on the page you'll see kind of the big picture items. We are an AmeriCorps program, so we do offer a bi-weekly living stipend. In addition to the primary benefits shown, we have partnerships with more than 100 colleges and universities that offer exclusive scholarships for City Year alumni. And we also have an organizational focus on professional and leadership development that supports our AmeriCorps members in their service and in pursuing personal and professional goals as well. And so how do you apply? You can apply directly through cityyear.org. It used to be black and white on the top right-hand corner. I believe now it's white and red. Apply now in big bold letters. That will take you to our application portal where there's a short qualifying questionnaire, and then it will link you to the application portal to sign up and create an account. As I said, we work in 29 cities, which you can see here across the country. I did want to just give a shout out to, we are in a rolling application period, which is to say that all of our sites are accepting applications up until they're full or till we get closer to the pin on the start of our service year. But wanted to shout out that currently our high need sites are New Hampshire, Boston, Providence, Philadelphia, Miami, Jacksonville, Little Rock, San Jose, Cleveland, Detroit, and Tulsa. So I wanted to make sure I gave those guys a bit of a shout out as we are deeming them our high need sites at the moment. But as I said, all of our sites are still currently accepting applications. if you're interested, feel free to follow us on social media. Again, we're at cityyear.org. Lots of great information on there about service, about the organization. And if you'd like to talk further, you can reach out to me. My email is aduffy@cityyear.org, as you see on the screen.
Will you also put it in the chat, please, Andrew?
I can absolutely do that. Yeah, for sure.
Great. Thank you. So thank you once again, everyone, for sharing amazing work that you all are doing. And from our other participants, if you have questions, please either raise your hand or type it up in chat, and we will go from there. Or you could unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay, Evan, will you also write your email contact information in this chat? Do you have questions about like application deadlines, or what type of fellowship will it be? How long?
If I could jump in really quickly and just also add that anyone who's potentially interested in teaching or not really sure yet, any of the programs that presented today, you could go and do that program and come and do our program. We do not have an age limit on our program. We have a lot of people who do City Year. We have a lot of people who participate in Peer Health Exchange when they're in college. So I just wanted to put that out there as well, if the 4-year thing seems a little overwhelming at first.
There is a question from Megan. What is the difference between City Year and something like Teach for America?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's kind of been touched upon the 2 points in the previous presentations. Our program is an 11-month term, so it's not as long a commitment as a Teach for America, where you're signing up for essentially 2 years. It's also, we too use the term near peer, wherein you're serving in classrooms, getting in classroom experience, but you're not looked at as an authority figure of sorts, such as the teacher or school administration or counselors, but you're also not looked at as a peer of classmates. You kind of bridge the gap in between. And we found that there's been great success in building relationships with students that need support in that space to be able to, identify with a young adult and support not only in the academic sense, but also in a social and emotional development context as well. So the big differences are the time commitment. We're an 11-month term, and then also the responsibility of the role is more akin to a teacher's aide or extra people power in the classroom rather than a full-fledged teacher position.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay, we have one more from Jordan. What kind of qualities are you looking for in a candidate for the program, specifically with Quaker voluntary service, but also in general for other programs? So maybe each one of you could share in a little bit about qualities from a candidate that you're looking for.
Sure, yeah, I can start. I think that's a great question. I think for QVS, we are looking for someone who is excited about practicing and experimenting and failing and trying again with intentional community. who is wanting or hungering for like transformational growth for a challenging year, to be practicing living out your values, analyzing places where you have privilege, analyzing places where you need support, practicing receiving help, like people who maybe are not there yet but want to be, and who are excited about exploring spirituality, who are open to figuring out what relationship with spirituality you want, or if you have a relationship with spirituality, deepening that and exploring other ways of being. I think that's the like shortest answer, but like definitely open-mindedness, someone who's not, trying to be a savior. I like to talk about QVS as like, you are volunteering a year for yourself and for your own growth, and you will be doing work that supports the community, and that's like a privilege to be able to be in that work. Yeah, thanks.
I can hop in really quickly. I think the number one thing for us is looking for people who are interested in becoming teachers. This is not necessarily a program that's like a stepping stone into a different type of career. It's not really a gap year program or anything like that. It is very much a teacher training and preparation program. So number one, we hope that you want to be a teacher. Within that category, though, we are also looking for commitment, which goes along with the 4-year commitment, a growth mindset. You will be doing a master's program. You will have coaching. You will be getting a lot of feedback throughout your 4 years with Urban Teachers. So it's incredibly important that you come in with a growth mindset. Perseverance. This is not an easy job, period. Like, and full stop. It is a very, very, very challenging job. It's very challenging work. Perseverance is key. And then again, just kind of the desire to do the work, the desire to be a teacher, and be in this world.
I'm not sure. I saw that Dawn typed in her response. If you'd like to read it out loud, certainly go ahead and share.
Hi, absolutely. So we have 2 different arms of this program. One of them is teacher training that is, to contrast with Urban Teachers, more of like a gap year program where we try to offer opportunities for folks who might not have a long time commitment, because most of our teachers stay for 1 year. This year we have almost 20 teachers who are staying for their seconds. We're really excited to see how these folks deepen their practice and their pedagogy. And so we don't tend to seek people who have a background in education, but we want to make sure that those of you who are teaching do feel competent to go into the classroom. And so we scaffold that with an intensive 6-week teacher training, as well as a mentorship program. So the other arm that we're also launching this year is our fellowship program. And so this is for people who are current students, both undergrad or graduate students, who are looking for an opportunity to dive deep into their field. Folks who want to study HR, who are studying communications, who would like extra practice in research. And this is also scaffolded through an in-house developed curriculum, as well as mentorship with folks who already have experience in practice, who are part of our vast alumni network, so that you can get a feel for what the culture is like on the ground in Becca, but also have the support that you need to be successful in the role. So those are the 2 different arms and the qualifications that we were looking for.
Thanks.
Awesome. And then Evan, I think, if you would like to share.
Hi, sorry, I just got a call from my manager. What was the question?
So the question was, what kind of qualities are you looking for in a candidate for the program?
Thank you. Definitely some of the situations where we've found that we've had the most success with students is definitely students who are from the area. We are in, we recently got into Stockton, and we're in certain programs that are specifically for students who are from that area. But of course, it doesn't have to be that situation as well. Just someone who really understands the value of health education coming from a really understanding and open source. We're definitely LGBTQ friendly, so something that's in our curriculum and it's inherent in our curriculum is also designed for predominantly Black and Latinx students. So we do a lot of work to look at student affinity support groups on campus so that the demographics of our students of our health educators match our students. So definitely those are very big perks, and definitely, that big understanding of how important health education is, and being able to provide the things that you needed in ninth grade. Some of the first questions that we ask our future facilitators are like, what do you wish you had out of your ninth grade health curriculum that you really hope to give back? So understanding the importance of that really makes anyone a really great candidate.
Awesome. So we are at 2:50-ish. So I think we're gonna wrap up this part of the session. And then if you've joined, you can move on to your second cluster, and then we'll start again at 3 for the second block.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Allie, Zay Finley will be joining to take my spot if a couple minutes late, because he's probably coming back from a march at this point. So just bear with us on that. But I actually have to hop off to go to an interview. So I just want to let you know that it won't be me, but someone will be here. Apologies for so many of us being involved and not involved at the same time.
No, it's good that so many of you are already here. So that's great.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye. How about we stop recording now?
Yeah. How do I?
On the bottom of your screen where you see record button, you should have an option to record, stop recording.
Okay. Should I stop or should I pause for the next section?
Should we start, Andy? It's 3:05.
I think so. I think that was a good time. So we'd like to welcome you all again for the jobs, internships, and jobs, internships, and opportunities cluster. We have 5 organizations that are being represented, and we'll be going through them, and with each one there's an allotted about 7 minutes for every organization to present, and then we'll save the end for questions. So please type in the chat anything that you would like, and we will certainly be answering all of that. So first off, we have Becca Schools. We'd like to open the floor to them.
Yeah, can I go ahead and share my screen?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Dawn. I'm one of 3 of us representing Becca Schools today. We're a partnership of 3 schools that are located in Honduras. Katie, would you mind going to the next slide, please? So in Honduras, we are finding that only 40% of students have the opportunity to graduate from high school. And so in an effort to work with our Honduran partners towards improving these numbers, we have created partnerships with 3 different schools on the ground in Honduras. And so Through this partnership and our dedicated volunteer teachers, we are able to offer a high quality, affordable education to kids who might not otherwise have access to that. Katie, we're ready for the next slide.
My name is Matthew McCormack. I'm also here today on behalf of Becca Schools. My pronouns are he, him, and his. So Becca partners with 3 existing bilingual schools on the ground in Honduras, which are ran by our Honduran directors as well as a board of parents. We as Becca Schools contract in our English-speaking team, and we recently even had the opportunity to contract in graduates from those of our 3 partner schools to be teaching English in our Becca classrooms. We also believe that educational enrichment and language learning should not stop after the school year. So our alternate break programs in the summer offer continual social development and language learning opportunities for our students in a non-traditional classroom setting outside of the normal academic year. And even outside of our school walls, we always like to engage within our community in many different ways, whether that's offering homestay opportunities for people that come down to work with us, continued home visits throughout the year, or also even monthly parent educational conversations within our community, and so much more, so we could continually foster an environment to strengthen our partnership and our work with our communities.
So again, I'm Katie, and I'm a teacher with Becca, and I'm also a program manager. So I just want to talk a little bit about our students because they are the heart and soul of what we do. It's why we do what we do. And my experience as a teacher is that I see these students come into my classroom and I'm just filled with hope because they are the most kind, caring, generous people I have met in my entire life. And I really enjoy the way that they think critically about the world around them. In science class, they look for solutions to climate change that they can enact in their school and their communities. And in English class, I see them working hard so that they can better their English skills, so that they can break down barriers and continue to communicate across cultures and across borders. So every time I step into my classroom, I am just filled with hope about the future of the world and about these students.
So we now have 3 really exciting ways to get engaged with our schools. One of them is in the classroom. And so this offers a minimum of a 1-year commitment with a 6-week intensive teacher training, ongoing professional development. Our Culture and Context series helps to ground our practice where we are and to better understand the political and economic situation facing our students and their families. We also offer direct education in trauma-informed practice, and we do this through establishing intentional communities, not only among our teachers who live and work together, but also with the wider communities in the small towns that we're working in. This opportunity is volunteer-based, but we do offer room and board in exchange for your service. The other way to get engaged is through our alternative break program. Right now we are offering a summer camp which offers youth development and academic enrichment activities that include art and music and games. And the other piece to the opportunity with our summer camp is to do a school improvement project. And so every year teachers and our Honduran partners identify a project that we can get involved with so that while we're doing this work, it is grounded in the community that we're doing the work with. And so finally, we are really excited to announce our new fellowship program. We're all trying to imagine what work looks like and what solidarity looks like in the times of COVID. And so we are super excited to be launching our fellowship program. All of our fellowship positions will be remote, and we're going to offer them in 5 pillars. Communication, so helping us launch our, or helping us with our social media campaigns, working on our newsletter. The other one is fundraising, so spearheading some of the campaigns that we have going on throughout the year, volunteer recruitment, research and helping us build out our alternative break program, because ideally we would offer additional ways to come down to Honduras in a temporary fashion, both through fall break, winter break, and spring break. Again, all of these positions are remote, and if you'd like more information, please reach out to us at volunteer@beccaschools.org. You're welcome to screenshot this, and we've placed a QR code that has a direct link to our volunteer application.
And we'll also drop our information in the chat. Thanks,
Katie.
Katie.
Hi, everybody. So hi, everyone. My name is Evan. Pronouns she, her, hers, and I am the manager of business development for Peer Health Exchange. And what Peer Health Exchange is we're a national health equity nonprofit that trains college students to be near peer health educators in local school districts that don't have a robust health curriculum. We usually teach in 9th grade, but depending on the program, we definitely try to meet that school district's needs. So Peer Health Exchange can be beneficial, of course, to our 9th graders. We've done pre and post testing, and we found that the students that we help are more likely to engage in health-seeking behaviors. They're able to identify local health centers. They are able to, name and have access and know how to access contraceptive methods, and as well as, defining consent and access mental health resources, and are more likely to access them as well. I really got engaged in this organization because I've spoke to students who were really benefited from this program and able to identify that they themselves were in abusive relationships, and identify how to get themselves out of that when, that is an issue for people of all ages and not just 9th graders. Peer Health Exchange has benefits on not only just, the people that we help, but also the college students that we work with. I am here at the Bonner Conference. I've also presented at the Bonner Conference in Kentucky in October, but we're here to advocate Peer Health Exchange to become a Bonner service site. We're actually already a Bonner service site at Wagner College in New York, and we've been approved to be one at Spelman College in Atlanta as well. But I am here to, gauge interest and advertise the program to current Bonner students who want to help be a part of Peer Health Exchange and bring it to their campus. Peer Health Exchange also is beneficial to college students. A lot of such large percentages of college students define Peer Health Exchange as one of the more transformative moments of their entire college experience. They're leaving with facilitation skills, public speaking skills, field experience, of course, service experience, and, building networks in their community surrounding their college. The program looks, different models at each college, but it's all near peer. So college students providing this curriculum to the local school districts. And the students that we usually look for, we work really hard to find college health educators who match the demographics of the students, because again, the near peer is really important. We found the students find that it's so much more, they're more ready to listen and absorb the information when it's information coming from a college student rather than a PE teacher, or someone who's really just being forced to teach health ed in a one-off curriculum, whereas our program takes place over from 7 to 14 weeks, depending on the schedule of the school. But that's what Peer Health Exchange is, and I'm happy to answer questions at the end.
Thank you. Thanks, Eden.
So we'll now open it up to City Year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Allie. Let me get in here. All right. So hello, everyone. My name is Andrew. I proudly serve as a regional recruitment manager for City Year. I currently live and work out of Raleigh, North Carolina. We are City Year, an education-focused national AmeriCorps program. Our mission is to support students in schools by challenging academic inequities and addressing the high school dropout crisis. As a nation, we are still seeing nearly 800,000 students not complete high school every year. And we believe this is a solvable problem. We believe City Year is part of the solution. We partner with schools and communities challenged by persistent inequities in our education system to create learning environments where all students can build on their strengths and fully engage in their learning. We work with students that are showing early indicator warnings, focusing on English language arts and mathematics. So the three big buckets we look at are attendance, are they coming to school, behavior, what's going on while they're at school, and course performance, what are their scores and data showing. As early as the 6th grade, any student who demonstrates poor attendance, disruptive behavior, or course failure in English or math has less than a 25% chance of graduating. So that is why that is our primary focus, is to try and counteract that trend. City Year seeks to serve in high schools with low graduation rates and elementary and middle schools that feed into them to increase the number of students who are on track and prepared for success in school and in life. So what is it like to be an AmeriCorps member with City Year? City Year AmeriCorps members will serve full-time on a team of diverse, passionate young adults in an elementary, middle, or high school setting for the duration of a school year. City Year AmeriCorps members forge positive, caring relationships with students and help create an environment where students can build on their strengths, take risks in their learning, and feel connected to their schools. They do that through group and one-on-one tutoring, working with a partner teacher to identify students who need extra support, analyzing data to inform decision-making, leading an initiative on your team as a coordinator. An example of that would be being in charge of a social media account, taking and inputting attendance data, putting on events for the school, and a couple of other areas of focus for those coordinator positions. It's also about contributing to a positive school culture where students arrive at school excited and ready to learn. It's about building positive relationships with our students, as I mentioned, and it's also leading after school programming for the schools where there's space and a need for that. Data has shown that schools that partner with City Year have improved on English and math assessments significantly across the entire school, not just looking solely at those students that we're working with. And then what are the benefits with serving with our organization? So on the screen now are some primary benefits. One of the bigger ones being that we are an AmeriCorps program, so we offer bi-weekly living stipend while serving. We also offer health insurance to those who need it, who aren't on our own plan. And then in addition to the primary benefits shown on screen now, we do have partnerships with more than 100 colleges and universities that offer exclusive scholarships for City Year alumni. And I also want to shout out that we have an organizational focus on professional and leadership development that supports our AmeriCorps members in their service and in pursuing personal and professional goals. So how can you apply? You can apply directly through our website, www.cityyear.org. On the top right corner of the homepage, you'll see Apply Now. That will take you to a short questionnaire, which then leads you to a link for our application portal where you can sign up and register to start an application. We serve in 29 cities across the US, which you can see on this map. All of our sites are currently accepting applications. We're in a rolling application period, which is to say we are accepting applications at all of our sites up until they fill or we get closer to the pin in regards to the start of our program year. Just to shout out some of our high need sites right now, New Hampshire, Boston, Providence, Philadelphia, Miami, Jacksonville, Little Rock, San Jose, Cleveland, Detroit, and Tulsa are all sites that we are currently designated as high need. So happy to answer questions in the Q&A session, but also if you'd like to reach out to learn more, you can reach me at aduffy@cityyear.org, and I will be sure to drop that in the chat box as well.
Awesome. So we'd like to pass it along now to Quaker Voluntary Service.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for having me. My name is Zenaida Peterson. I use they, them pronouns. And yeah, I am representing Quaker Voluntary Service. I'm going to share my screen really quick. 1 second. Also, yeah, shout out to everybody else on this call, and sorry that you're hearing me talk about the same thing twice. Okay, so, oh wait, that's not what I meant to do. I want to present, not share. Great. So yes, I work for Quaker Voluntary Service. I served as a fellow when I was a couple years out of school, and now do recruitment and equity work for them. Quaker Voluntary Service is a service year program, an 11-month service year program for young folks 21 to 30 who want to live in intentional community, deepen their spirituality, and do social justice work. These are the 5 cities that we have fellows serving in. And this was my house when I was a fellow. So yeah, we really value simple and abundant living. So what that looks like is you'll have a public transportation pass covered. You have a food stipend that you share as a house, and a personal stipend that you receive on a monthly basis, as well as a program completion stipend at the end of the year. Fellows are encouraged to lean into this Quaker value of simplicity. It is an anti-capitalist way of moving through the world and relying on your community, relying on people around you for the care and needs that you have, and trying to dismantle this sense of individualism. So these are the different kinds of this is the different kind of work that fellows get into, the sort of issue areas. Our sites run the gamut of different sorts of issue areas. So QVS has 3 major pillars of what our work is, and one is communal living and intentional living. The second is social justice work, and the third, and they're all treated equally, is a spirituality aspect. So every other Friday, fellows meet to do spiritual development work with their housemates. You don't have to be Quaker to be a part of the program, and really the goal is that you leave the program feeling more spiritually connected than you did when you came. And so we are providing tools for what that can look like, and how spirituality can look really different for lots of people. And yeah, so each year we start in September, and so we are currently filling the site placements for this next year, and applications will open back up in November, but you can feel free to reach out to be notified when our applications open up again. And we will, right now, what QVS is looking like is that we're holding heavy in our hearts the violence that Black folks are experiencing around the country. We are doing a lot of work to support our fellows. We have a house in Minneapolis that is really close to where George Floyd was murdered, and are supporting folks emotionally and spiritually as they process and are organizing in their communities. So I can say a lot more about QVS. That was really super brief. If you type in Quaker Voluntary Service on YouTube, there are lots of videos of days in the life, and I'm happy to answer any questions as well. So I'll drop our social media and my personal contact information, and I'm also happy to answer any questions later. Thanks, everyone.
Amazing. So last but not least, we have urban teachers here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zay Finley, Senior Recruitment Manager based out of Atlanta, Georgia, for Urban Teachers. Go ahead and get started. I won't be before you all long. Share my screen. All right. So Urban Teachers, we're an alternate teaching licensure program. We actually place all of our teachers in Baltimore, Dallas, and DC. It's a 4-year commitment to the classroom. You will also receive a master's degree from Johns Hopkins School of Education. We focus on either elementary education, secondary literature, or secondary math. Also, all of our participants do receive certification. So you'll be certified in one of those areas as well as special education. And specifically for Dallas, you'd be receiving a mental health certification as well as an ESL certification. But I'm also going to talk a little bit about our statistics and why we do the things that we do. So basically, we feel like it's definitely time to close the gap because America's equity gap is growing, and we see growing inequity and equality across our communities. And truth is, we feel like that gap begins in the classroom. And so we want to make sure that we close that gap and we lock that revolving door of the teacher in and out of the classroom, and students not having someone to look up to because that next year they're gone, or within a few months they're gone. So again, we are a 4-year commitment to the classroom. 94% of all of our teachers feel like they are prepared and equipped with the knowledge and skills they need to go in the classroom and be really effective teachers. And we have a 77% retention rate. And that retention rate was actually, I think it's increased a little bit as well. Let me pull up the video from one of our participants. Let's see if it's up. There it is.
My name is Claygo Hips, and I am an English 4, AP Lit, and English 3 teacher here at Uplift Mighty, and I am an urban teacher. I am a product of urban education. I'm a product of the hood, the ghetto, whatever name you want to call it. It made me who I am. It is my job as a college graduate to come back and give to my community. That 4-year commitment is what exacts change. Not 1, not 2. Living, breathing, being that community is how you get change. Just the model, I was all on board. The fact that I got to learn from someone else. My host teacher last year had 12 years of experience. She's been everywhere. She knows all these strategies. So I got 11 years of experience in 1 year from somebody. I think that is very, very valuable. Other programs should think about that instead of just throwing people in classrooms. I started thinking about the impact that I want to leave in this world, and the biggest impact is what you give into the future. From Fort Worth or not, you're not willing to give back to your community, don't expect anybody else to give you anything. So that's why I chose Urban Teachers.
And that actually was a testimony from one of our participants that is in Dallas.
Zay, will you share that link in the chat because we were not able to watch the video?
Oh, okay, yes, I will. I'll put it in the chat. Thank you for that. Can you all see my screen now? That's weird. Okay,
I can see it.
So these are some of the numbers that we like to, I don't necessarily say brag, but we want to make sure that people can see when they think about Urban Teachers. So we have 134,000 total students that have been served by Urban Teachers and Urban Teachers alum. In 2010, we had 1,254 residents. Actually, going into this year, we now have 410, I believe, that'll be going into the classroom moving forward. This is a breakdown of how the 4 years is set up. So within that first year, that is the residency. Normally students will join us in the summer and we pay for their room and board, all their meals, and books and materials for their master's degree program. Of course, this summer, things are different due to COVID. So all of the classes will actually be virtually this summer, and they're not moving to their respective cities as of yet. But they're still going to be doing coursework, of course, via Zoom or any other technology that the professor would like to use. Going into the full academic year, hopefully everything has been calmed down and schools can open back up and we can get them in the classroom like they normally are. but that is when their full residency year starts. So they'll be working with multiple teachers, learning different classroom management skills, such as like writing lesson plans and things of that nature, as well as taking the bulk of their coursework during their master's degree, for their master's degree, sorry. They're also paid a living stipend that first year, which is, the minimum is $20,000, but it definitely varies depending on city, of course. Then going into year 2 of the program, that'll be the first full year as a full-time teacher with full-time teacher salary and benefits. They'd also still technically be a student, but the course load for the master's degree will be much lighter, and they'll complete that master's degree year 2 of the program. Third year, still a full-time teacher, but this is when they're going to receive those certifications that I mentioned earlier. In that fourth and final year of the program, still a full-time teacher, but they now will be giving back to the program as a classroom leader. So they will be hosting new residents that join the program. Here is the contact information for those that are in your region. Again, I am Zay Philly. I'm in the Southeast, based out of Atlanta. We have Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, Texas South, and our West Coast recruiter is Madison Reiser. And that's a little bit about Urban Teachers. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And I'm going to put the link in the chat as well.
Thank you.
No problem.
So we'll now reopen to questions. And I do want to get to one that was sent earlier from Jasmine. And she asked, would it be possible to do a summer of service with Becca schools?
Hi, yes, this summer because of COVID, we are not offering our normal summer programs, but we will offer them back up next year. We're thinking about doing an alternative spring break for 2021, but right now our schools are not looking like they will be able to reopen until September or October. But thank you for your question.
Yeah, if you have more questions, you could unmute yourself or you could type it in the chat.
So Jasmine asks, is City Year for college graduates or for current college students, or either?
That's a great question. Thank you, Jasmine. So City Year being an AmeriCorps program, there are some AmeriCorps requirements, which are that you are between the ages of 17 and 25, that you are a U.S. Citizen or legal permanent resident. And then organizationally, the only requirement that we have is that you, aside from being willing to work with students, have your high school diploma, GED, or an equivalency, or if you don't possess either of those, you'd be willing to work towards an equivalency while you serve. So long as you hit all three of those requirements, you are eligible to serve as an AmeriCorps member for City Year.
Cool, thank you.
So I'd like to ask a question just real quick. If y'all could go through and just kind of describe how much time one should allot for the application process, or how involved that is depending on your program.
Sure, I'll jump in. This is Zay with Urban Teachers. So currently our application is closed. It'll open back up later in August. But the application normally takes 30 to 45 minutes. It's basic information. There is an essay that you will have to write, and that particular essay will actually be a part of your Johns Hopkins application packet. So it's 350 words. It's asking you for recommenders and things of that nature as well. So it's not a long application, and we can kind of set up time to kind of walk you through it and give you the tools that you'll need to kind of be successful when doing so. You also will need your resume as well as an official transcript. No problem.
go next. Yeah, it's just a really good question. So QVS has a pretty extensive application process. Quaker Voluntary Service has like a series of essays that folks would fill out that can sort of be as short or as long as feels fit, depending on your level of brevity. But, you know, asking questions about your experience with community and like what your hopes are for community, what's your experience with conflict. They're more involved than that, but to just give you an idea. And to talk about conflicts that you've had and how did you handle it? How did you learn from those conflicts? Yeah, so I think there's like 3 or 4 short essays. And we also have 3 letters of recommendation from a roommate, somebody that you've lived with, a spiritual advisor, anybody who knows you on a spiritual level or knows what your spiritual desires are, or spiritual life is like. And a 3rd is from an employer. And then also a resume. That's it. And we recognize that like writing like lengthy essays might not be super accessible for different people. So there's also like an option to send in like voice memos of your answers to the questions as well. And yeah, and so that it's hard to say how long that might take someone. I think that there are people who do it in the afternoon and there are people who spend a little bit of time on it for a while, so.
We could go next. For our teacher program, it is an application that you can find on our website. We do have 3 short essays that we ask for you to respond to because we are living in very intense, intentional communities, much like QVC was describing. And then for our fellowship program, we ask that you submit a cover letter and a resume. For both of them, we do require that you, well, for the teacher, that you would have finished your education because you'll be spending a whole year with us, and it's not very feasible to be working towards a degree while you're in the ground in Honduras. But for the fellowship program, that you are a current student, and we can definitely offer support and work with you while you're filling out the application. But the application process itself is not very long, and then you'll go through a series of interviews that for our teaching program includes a lesson plan, and we just kind of talk through what your approach to education is, what your approach to class discipline is. And then for our fellowship program, it's also a series of interviews to gauge how closely your professional goals match our mission, and to make sure that we have a program in place that will help you get towards your professional goals.
Thanks, Dawn.
Well, Pure Health Exchange is a little unique as it is not a postgraduate program. It's a potential current Bonner service site. So in order to bring Pure Health Exchange to your campus, you would have to meet with your Bonner program leader, we're more than happy to join those meetings. I've had many a meeting with Bonner service campus leaders, and yeah, you bring us to your campus, and then there is an application process for other people who want to join the program after it's established as a service site, and that it consists of a quick application and then an interview process with both members of Pure Health Exchange, our own organization, the local members in that city, as well as the student who brought Pure Health Exchange to campus. There are tier levels of Pure Health Exchange health educators. There are people who are, program managers who run the program and, help recruit volunteers. And there are people who are just health educators who don't take any leadership roles within the chapter. So you can choose what you want to be a part of.
So speaking for City Year, our application is found directly through a link on our website. It will bring you to a questionnaire and then have you create a login for the actual application portal, where you can actually drop in, drop out of the application at the different stages. There's some short answer portions. and you can definitely come back to it, take as much time as you need. If you were to do it in one sitting, it would probably take no more than 30 to 40 minutes. But as I said, you can kind of fill in a section, take some time to think about either the next section or revisit it, however the approach works for you. We are currently in a rolling application period. And I mentioned that before, all of our sites are accepting applications. We do have some high need sites. And then the process, as far as it looks right now, is that once you apply, you will then get onto our rolling admissions process, which is now weekly, where our admissions team or someone from the specific site that your application is to will then reach out to schedule an interview. And that typically happens within the course of 2 to 3 weeks. Thereafter, it's just a matter of syncing up schedules. But given that we are getting closer and closer every day to the beginning of our service year, which for all of our sites starts late July, early August, the need is now to just sort of be as efficient and quick as we can with that process. So we're trying to move people down the pipeline as quickly as possible. One other thing I want to mention is that we do also offer a mid-year position. So if anyone on the call is graduating in December, our mid-year application will go live at the end of August or the beginning of September. And that position starts in late December, early January to help support some of the natural attrition that we see in our program over the course of the fall semester. So it's a prorated half of a term of service for the spring semester. And the benefits that I had focused on, specifically the education award, is prorated. So it's essentially half of a year. So if that's the situation for anyone, be aware that that's available as well and will come as we get closer to that end of August time point.
Thanks. Any other questions? Maybe I'll revisit the question that was asked in the earlier session. So will you share quickly specific qualities or skills that you are looking for in candidates?
Yeah, totally. So things that QVS is looking for in candidates are mostly people who are really open-minded and are willing to try on living in an intentional community, who are excited to try on Quaker practices, and who are excited to be doing social justice work. And really people who are like ready and willing to experience many moments of discomfort and challenge, and to have, and who are hungering for a transformational experience.
Thanks.
So urban teachers, we actually take all majors in our particular program, so there's no particular major we're looking for. We also take career changes as well. So whatever field that you are in, if you want to go into the classroom and you graduated undergrad with at least a 2.75 to 3.0, then you can be considered for our particular program.
Thanks, Zeke.
We also look for, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. We also look for people from a variety of backgrounds because we do believe that bringing in folks from different perspectives deepens all of our work. And so because we are a school that is centered in community, we do ask that folks who apply would be interested in and passionate about and curious about the intersection between youth development and education, because working on the ground in Honduras is very challenging. And so folks who would be up for that challenge as well. For our fellows, we're looking for folks who whose career goals and personal goals align closely with the work that you'll be doing. We will match you with a mentor so that you'll have like a scaffolded experience all throughout your year with us. And so we ask that our fellows be current students and for our teachers to have graduated. For our alternative breaks, that would be ideal for right after your junior year for your international service experience, or anyone who is looking for an alternative job or internship to do during the summer.
Thanks, Don. Evan, would you like to go next?
Sure, yes, thank you. Peer Health Exchanges also welcomes all majors. You don't have to just be interested in teaching or public health or anything. We really just welcome everyone. We just want to emphasize that there is a care on access to health education and health resources, and understand and trying to provide, you know, ninth graders with the health education that you wish you received, or if you received a great one, some of the best parts of it. And as much as we do try to look for near peers, so we definitely try to look for people who are similar to the demographics of the students in the local school district, and people who have time in their schedule, because it's definitely a commitment.
Thanks.
Yeah, so to answer that for City Year, really for us, what it's about is individuals that are willing to step up to the challenge of addressing the systemic inequities that our schools are facing. We are deliberately in schools and communities that have traditionally been underserved and underutilized. So being able to be mindful of how and why we're entering spaces, and really be willing to challenge personal biases and perspectives of what that service can and does look like. And also, it's really about the intentionality of showing up and being deliberate in those spaces, of being authentic and leaning into the fact that these students are going to rely on these relationships, not only for academic support, but also for social and emotional support as well. They are often coming from backgrounds where a positive role model in their life may not be as prevalent as one may think. So being able to show up and kind of show out in these spaces and really work with the mindset of students first, and always having that as sort of the center of your intention and your focus, I think is great. There's some need for building relationships both with students, partner teachers, various stakeholders like school administration, city staff, community leaders. There's an element of teamwork and team building, as you are based on a team at school. So being able to sort of have some adaptability of working in a team setting, and then transitioning into more individualized focus in your in-classroom service, and being able to kind of shift as the needs shift as well. And then really it's about being passionate about having a change in these schools and in these communities that we serve, and be willing to sort of, as I had said, challenge what you're bringing to the table and really broaden your perspective, and come at it with an open mind and an open heart as well. So we look at, in terms of, I mentioned requirements, I also wanted to add we're an 11-month term. So we start in the summer, late July, early August, and run through to late May, early June. So it's an 11-month term of service as well. I just want to mention that.
Thanks.
Awesome. So we're now at 3:50. So I think we're going to wrap this up. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who shared from their program. We appreciate it so much. Y'all are doing amazing work. And as a reminder to everyone who's here, there is a 4:30 session, the Stories of Impact. So make sure that you're here for that. And we'll be seeing you all very soon. Thank you for joining the session. And yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
See you later.
See ya.